This week's talk is called True Faith Don't Come Easy, but It's Worth It. And so this talk came to me because of an incident that happened to me recently, which I am now going to go into detail about, because to really understand what I'm trying to say here, or where I'm coming from what I'm trying to say, I really need to explain what I just went through as an experience in my life. So early last week, I think it was last week. It was last week. I woke up on Monday about 4 a.m. with extraordinary pain in my abdomen and back and a huge urge to go pee. So I jump out of bed, run into the bathroom, and I'm not able to pee. And the pain of even trying to is worse. I sit down and the pain even gets worse. It's in my front, it's in my back. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I am beside myself in pain. And so the first thing I think about is to abandon the truth in your hour of need is to not understand the truth. Let me say that again. To abandon the truth in your hour of need is to not understand the truth. And here I am in this extraordinary pain thinking, I got a big need here. I have this huge need. I'm in this really bad pain. And so I know for myself that I am healthy and vital, and pain-free. And so I'm just holding that for myself, but the pain is so great that I am moaning loud enough where I wake up my wife, who comes and helps me back to bed. And she's concerned because I'm in all this pain, and I'm telling her my symptoms, and then all of a sudden I break out into a fever, and I get nauseous and have to run to the bathroom, and I'm throwing up, and so she's like, we need to go to the emergency room. Now here's the thing about that. We don't have health insurance. And so, and it's because we actually make a decent living. If you make a decent living, your premium, you don't get the kind of subsidies from the government you do if you don't make a decent living. And so then the premiums are so outrageous that it's really, unless you make more than a decent living, they're on the edge of unaffordable. So I was not so quick to want to rush to an emergency room. In fact, I made a stand for I am not taking on those kinds of expenses. I am staying at home and I'm going to work this through. So I'm at home. Hours pass and the pain just gets worse and worse. And then all of a sudden I realize I am in resistance to my own prosperity. That if I need to go to the emergency room, well, then that's what needs to happen. I need to let go of any resistance to however God shows up for my good, that was actually in my way by saying I would not go to the emergency room. So we jump into the car and we start going. Now you have to understand that we have been visualizing and knowing that if it is a kidney stone, which we weren't positive that it was at this point, that it exploded and passed easily and effortlessly. So we get to the emergency room, I get out of the car, I'm outside the door, and all of a sudden the pain disappears. I get back in the car, pull out a cup, and out comes a stone and gravel like the thing had exploded and passed easily and effortlessly. Now I'm thinking, this is great. Prayer works. Yes. To know the truth in your hour of need is to know it. And we knew it, and it exploded just the way we envisioned it would. It passed through. We go on home without having to go to the emergency room. Now we know it was a kidney stone because that's what just passed. And I'm like, I'm feeling really good. And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, do I have this stuff down. Look what I just did. Most people have to deal with kidney stones for days on end, 4 hours, and boom, over. I get home and I talk to my son who's also having his own health crisis, and I tell him, that he needs to focus and he needs to know the truth about himself, and that's really important, and that prayer works. Affirmational prayer works. Spiritual mind treatment works. What we teach here works. And he gets on that bandwagon and he starts doing it, and I go about the rest of my day thinking I'm the cat's meow. Go to bed that night, wake up about 2 in the morning, once again in extraordinary pain. And once again can't pee. The difference this time, though, is now we know what it is. Instead of thinking it might have been appendicitis, or it might have been this, or it might have been that, and we now know what I'm dealing with is kidney stones. So I just start focusing on, once again, it exploding, and it passing easily and effortlessly. And so we get on that bandwagon. But this time, 4 hours pass, 6 hours pass, and nothing has changed. The pain is extraordinary. I get a intuitive hit that certain pressure points, acupuncture points on my body, that ash massages might help the pain, and sure enough it does, and that really helps. And so that's my next point, that as we sit in this faith, as we sit, we must be listening all the time for any bit of information that might help us, no matter how crazy it seems. So when I got that hit that Ash should push on these points on my body, instead of going, there's no way that could work, I had her do that, and sure enough, it helped the pain dramatically. And so we went along, and that day I passed another stone, and the pain went away again. The next morning I wake in pain again. And the pain once again is horrible. And I'm starting to think, how many stones can there be? I've already passed 2. How many can there be? And here's what happens to me at this point. The pain is so bad that I realize the only way I can be with it is through a sense of surrender. To actually let go to it. To allow this process to unfold the way it needs to, even though it's painful. And this is what I mean by faith don't come easy. There are times in our lives when things just feel so hard, so painful, and our fight or flight instincts rise up so strongly to either take it on or try to run from it. But in true faith, neither of those are what's necessary. Letting go is the call. Not letting go of the specific result I wanted. What I wanted was to be in a healing state, a vital, healthy state. So I held on to that vision, that knowing that was going to be true for me. That these stones passed easily. That if they needed to explode, they'd explode. If they could just pass and fit, that was okay, but nothing was stuck and everything was moving. That was what I knew. Everything else I didn't know, like how that was going to come about, how many stones there were. And so it was really important to let go of that stuff. So I did. I just let go into that. And sure enough, a few hours later, another stone passed. Now, I don't know whether this is the end of it or not. And sure enough, it wasn't. The next day, the pain returned again. And we went through another day of prayer and knowing. This time with people calling from all over the place with all kinds of advice as to what I should be doing. Now, I will tell you, I was drinking plenty of liquids. Water. And we tried some homeopathic remedies that we'd heard about. But the big thing that I knew was that this thing was working its way through and teaching me a deeper place of prayer. a place where that first place I came to of feeling like, woo, I did it kind of thing, that was all gone. I was feeling so humble at this point. I was feeling so deep in God's love, so deep in the greater beingness of all, and allowing that, knowing that my highest and best good was here for me, even in the midst of this. So when that last stone passed, and it was a big one, I knew it was over at that point. I didn't say to myself, oh my, is there another one? I didn't think to myself, what else is going to happen? There was such a deep knowingness at that point when that last stone passed that I just fell into a state of grace, humble grace. No pride and, letting my peacock tail fly. It was much more a sense of deep caring and love. My wife had been through the whole thing with me. She had sat with me through all of it. We are deeper with each other because of that experience. There is a deeper sense of love and beingness and faith that is achieved when we allow the hardest of obstacles in our lives to bring us to that place of knowing. To abandon the truth in our hour of need is to not understand the truth. And I have to tell you that I have a deeper understanding of that now than ever before in my life. If that first stone had been it, I would have never learned all that I learned about faith, about the bigger picture, about the bigger power there is. So allow those obstacles to come on. Surrender to the truth. Surrender to the higher power, but never surrender your vision. Know what you want for yourself, but then allow it to happen, because it will. It has to. God is on our side, all our sides. All we have to do is invite him in. Invite whatever, I say him, and what I really mean is whatever this power is within us, without us, that embraces us. The all-knowingness of the one is ours when we allow it and surrender. I love you. Thank you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.